Welcome to your sixth and final video of our new practice member orientation. Everything you need to know to make an informed decision of whether Awaken Chiropractic is the right place for you. Let's talk about my favorite thing to talk about, torque release technique. Let's talk about how we actually get you better. Your nervous system fires out to every cell, every muscle, every tissue, every organ, coordinating and controlling everything that is you. Everything that your body goes through is sent to your brain and back from your brain to your body, and that loop of life is your health. It is your existence in this world. Okay? Your nervous system fires at a very, very specific frequency. Every single nerve in your body fires at a different frequency. So, for example, this nerve is called your vagus nerve. No, not like Nevada. Vagus nerve is designed to control heart, lungs, stomach, digestive system, regulating a lot of things. And as you see, the autonomic nervous system happens automatically. You don't have to think about it, which is nice. That you don't have to regulate and put conscious thought into digesting lunch. It just turns into eyeball cells and skin on the back of your kneecap and new bone and red blood cells. And it's incredible how much your brain is regulating for cellular regeneration. But what happens with every single nerve in your body firing at a very specific frequency, let's just take that vagus nerve, firing 5 times every single second at 5 hertz is what your vagus nerve fires at. Pa, 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 pa. Every single time that your nerve fires, at the end of that nerve, neurotransmitters are released, just spraying into the receptors of your heart being received. So the receptors on your heart gets that information and it knows what to do. So it pumps or it regulates blood pressure, or literally anything, whatever function is necessary for that neurotransmitter. And with 5 impulses per second, you get the right quantity of neurotransmitters being released. And then as your heart sends information back up to your brain, the same thing happens with those neurotransmitters being released at the proper frequency and the proper quantity so that you can have a nice, clear connection. It's similar to listening to the radio on the right frequency where you get a nice, clear, crisp image. Now, who likes to play the guitar? If you take a guitar and you strum it and it's out of tune, besides sounding terrible, you know that the solution to that is to change the tension on the chord, right? So that when you strum, it gives you that proper frequency. What happens in the nervous system when a bone shifts out of alignment? We talked earlier how it slows down the water out to the garden. That's a great analogy to help you conceptualize what we're doing. But if you really want to take it deeper, what happens when you put compression on the spinal cord and nerves is it changes the frequencies that those nerves fire at. And what research is finding is that when those nerves change, they change to the frequency of 64 hertz or multiples of 64. 128, 256, 512. These frequencies are a blackout frequency in the nervous system. It is the frequency of disease, which is really interesting because all your tuning forks in medicine, what are they? 64, 128, 256, 512. So let's say you're going through your daily life, you encounter a stress. Every single time that there is a stress into your system at a greater severity than you can handle, your nervous system will begin to change the frequency of a nerve to store that trauma in there. Think about a lightning bolt hitting your house. That electrical surge is so great to the house that the fuse to the garage blows to save the rest of the electrical circuit. But now you got the symptom of that light being off to your garage. Much like that there's a physical reaction to the stress to the house. When there's a stress to your body, there's a physical reaction that occurs in there. And if you can't heal from it, your body will store that in your system. Just like a new window being opened on your computer, it takes up RAM, so that suppresses the strength of your nervous system like we talked about in one of our previous videos with heart rate variability. Now, you encounter that stress, the nerve changes in its frequency, but now this nerve's firing at 64 hertz, for example. What happens when you listen to the radio on the wrong frequency? It becomes a little bit scratchy. You can still hear it, but something's off, right? When nerves change in their frequency, it does not affect the brain's ability to send electrical messages out. It affects the body's ability to send clear messages back to the brain. Think of your brain trying to regulate your body with a disrupted radio call or radio signal. And it's it's all scratching. It's trying to get the information for the lungs are sending information to the brain saying, "Hey, we need to open, and it's getting some scratchy like feedback, and all it hears is open, but it doesn't know what to open, so it doesn't open the lungs. Well, what happens if the nerves that supply the lungs and tell them to open are firing at the wrong frequency? The lungs aren't going to open, and then you take your poor kid to the doctor because their lungs aren't open. They're like, "Oh, no big deal. He's got asthma." Oh, a lot of kids have asthma, but we know what we can do. We can give him an inhaler. We'll give him a steroid to force his lungs open. He'll need it for a long time because we know it doesn't fix the root issue. But it never addresses the underlying issue. Asthma is not a lung issue. It's a neurological issue affecting the lungs, which is why we start to take pressure off these nerves and the lungs start to expand the way they're designed to. Did we treat asthma? No. Did the body treat itself? Yeah. If the lights were off in this office, would you treat the darkness or would you turn the light on? You can't create health by treating sickness. And sickness was designed to be treated in an emergency or last resort. Outside of that, if it's not an emergency or last resort, you've literally tried everything, the cons far outweigh the pros of taking medicine and taking the medical route to treat something that has a functional cause. You cannot fix with a chemical something that has a functional cause. Think about that. You cannot medicate yourself to health. So what we do with our technology, this is going to be a little bit longer this video, is we assess with a deep tendon reflex every single nerve in your body at that moment in time that you walk into our office for if it's under compression and firing outside of its normal frequency. The integrator, the only device in chiropractic backed by the FDA, is designed to preload and fire at 1/10,000th of a second right into that nerve root, recoiling back, creating a vibrational frequency at 64 hertz to clash against that nerve that's misfiring at its 64 hertz frequency, thus allowing the brain to read that there's a problem in the area and reactively reset that nerve to its proper tone and frequency. Some people feel better, as we talked in the last video. Most people don't. But on a cellular level, you have the proper frequency of nerve supply out to your heart and lungs. So with the proper neurotransmitters being released, the lungs slowly start to operate again. And then what happens is your son's lungs start to expand. You're like, "Man, chiropractic treated my asthma." No. Chiropractic restored the connection between your son's innate intelligence and your vital organs. Your innate intelligence and your muscles. So that you have everything you need to heal inside of you. We're just removing the barrier that's preventing it from happening in the first place. So after we make 3 or 4 adjustments, we're not going to adjust a million levels because these adjustments change everything about how your nervous system works. We have to be very methodical and precise. We're going to post-check that at your next adjustment to ensure that you held, and then we'll build on top of it. And that's where we get the strengthening of the nervous system that we talked in that previous video, ultimately thus allowing your body to live and exist in a state of connection and healing long-term, ultimately allowing you to live the best life that you can. So you've reached the end of our education videos. We have a ton of other resources on our website. If you want to check out the other videos on our page, go over to the videos tab. We have things from our podcast. We have other educational things, FAQ videos, interviews, testimonial videos. We have a ton of resources for you. Browse around this entire thing. We put a lot of effort into ensuring that you get to make a true educated decision when it comes to you and your family's healthcare. Again, I'm Dr. Gabriel Long. It's an honor for you to consider being under care with us, and I promise you, if you decide to, that we'll give you everything we can, and we'll make sure that we add years to life